news you can use.
Welcome to The Scoop, where we can give you some news that we think that you can use and will be helpful to your friends and family and yourself. Today we're going to talk about the United Way agency, and we very fortunately have with us Diana Baker, who's the president and CEO. Welcome, Diana.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Really appreciate that you're come down here. President and CEO of the United Way of Tampa Bay.
Right.
Right. So would you give us a brief history of United Way and how long it's been around? A long time.
Yes, we're one of the oldest not-for-profit organizations, both in the community and nationally, and one of the largest nationally. The history starts something like the joke. There were two ministers, a priest and a rabbi, and it is true that in...
Is that really for real? Okay.
It is. In Denver, Colorado was the beginning of the United Way many, many years ago, around the 1920s.
These clergy got together?
Clergy got together and they said, you know, there are all these needs in our community and we're all doing our own thing and struggling. Why don't we work together? And that really was the beginning of the United Way as a vehicle for helping bring community together around community needs and allow people to give whatever resource they had to address those needs.
So the United Way got formed before the agencies that it has always helped?
Many of them, yes. Yeah. I mean, obviously there are a few in our community that are as old or older than a United Way would be in any community, but for the most part,
How about the Tampa Bay area? How long has that been around?
1924 in Hillsborough County, that was the beginning, and 1932 in Pinellas County, which is our geographic area.
And the rest of the state's covered as well?
The rest of the state is covered. There'll be a United Way in every major metropolitan area, and even some in small communities. But every county in the state of Florida is accounted for by a United Way organization.
And you're all under one umbrella, right? Or not?
We're not. We're separately incorporated and have our own boards of directors, but we work very well in a state network as well as a national system.
In the Tampa Bay area, what are the kind of agencies that you're supporting? And how do you decide that, too?
Mm-hmm. Well, at this point, we're really looking at what the community needs are, and there are a couple of things that have surfaced over the last several years that we've been paying a lot of attention to. So there's a network, a comprehensive network of agencies, about 68 in the two-county area, that are providing what we consider to be basic needs services. They're emergency services. So food banks and emergency shelters, domestic violence programs, counseling programs, opportunities for people with disabilities and folks who are senior citizens in our community to get some support that they need. But in addition to that, we really have focused on a couple of different areas. One is children and youth achieving their potential, so helping kids be successful getting in school, school success, life skill development, so that they in fact do graduate and are able to go on to better things in life. And then for families and individuals, looking at their financial well-being and how successful are they being in meeting the needs of their own families and being able to take care of those family needs on their own without government assistance or other assistance.
Does the United Way make a sort of a mission statement each year or a plan? As you said, you have this focus on basic needs plus now children and youth?
Right.
Okay.
We do, and our mission really speaks to mobilizing resources in the community to address the most critical needs that our communities face.
So I guess an agency will apply to United Way to be one of your nonprofits that you support.
That's right. We have long-standing partnerships with many organizations in the community, but we're also creating new partnerships. Some of them, many of them, do end up being funding relationships, but we also have partnerships that sometimes don't require funding, but require working together in the community on an issue.
And United Way gets its funding from?
From individuals in the community.
And usually, though, through work. I'm an ex-IBM or an ex-General Foods person.
That's right.
Big corporations would encourage us to participate?
We are very fortunate to have many, literally hundreds of corporate partners in the local community who allow us the privilege, really, of addressing their employees and letting them know about the needs and inviting them to contribute, to give of their financial resource or their volunteer resource to
Oh, you
be
do
put.
take that too?
Absolutely.
Okay, and is that, in addition to the corporations, you also have local government, don't you? Some of the
government campaigns, that's right. We are the administrator for state employees and for federal employees in the local community.
So, how do you use volunteers? Let me ask you that.
Well, our Hands on Tampa Bay program is really our signature volunteer program, and it works on a calendar basis, so agencies record projects with us. We put them up on a website. Individuals who want to be volunteers go to the website. They do a 45-minute orientation, and they're free to attend any project that's on the calendar. So it's nights and weekends, it's family-oriented, it's individuals, and they have the chance to go try out a lot of volunteer opportunities and see what they want to do.
So you're like almost like a clearinghouse for the volunteers needed by these 68 agencies, or
Right.
maybe less?
That's true. We're matching up the need with the volunteer. Most of the projects that we get involved in are not fundraisers. They're generally rock the babies at a domestic violence shelter,
Okay.
or really hands-on with the agencies and their clients.
Are there, now we're in these sort of really difficult economic times. I think this is probably something that's hit everyone across the board. It's not just one specific group because of the fact that it's been the marketplace. And I just wondered if you'd address this. You talked about food bank. Is that a necessity now, or more of a necessity?
It sure is. You know, a lot of times when we are deciding about what to do with our resources that we have to support in the community, it's about taking care of someone else. And in our community today, there are people who've been very generous themselves in giving and helping others who are now in need of help. They've lost a job, something's happened in their family because of the economic situation, or maybe it's just a matter of gas prices and food prices have outpaced their budget and their capacity. So we're seeing a huge increase in people reaching out in the community to food pantries and like programs, saying, I've never done this before, but I need help today.
I want to find out how they access that. We'll be back in just a minute after a little break. Thank you.
Change your life. Learn TV and internet video production skills at TBCN in Tampa. Become a skilled video producer quickly and inexpensively. Learn audio, editing, lighting, and camera basics. Produce multi-camera videos for TV, the internet, business, or pleasure.
Welcome to my live call-in show on Tampa Bay Community Network. You too can learn to produce and star in your own video programming, or you can have TBCN staff do it for you.
Call TBCN at 813-977-5200 today and change your life. Visit our website at tbcn.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn.
Welcome back to The Scoop. I'm Louise Thompson from Tampa Bay Community Network, and today we're talking with Diana Baker, who's the president and CEO of United Way of Tampa Bay, and she's been filling us in on United Way and some of the services that they provide and help get provided to the community. You were talking before the break about the food banks. How do people find these places? I mean, do they look up food bank in the book, or what happened?
I think the best way for them to find the services they need, there are really two ways. One is through the United Way website. So the website we're directing people to is liveunitedhere.org, and they'll find their county, and they can follow the county link to the resources in their own county. So that's one way that they can find the services they're looking for. But we also want to let viewers know that there is a resource available to them, just like when you have an emergency, you call 911. There is a 211 service that is specifically designed to provide information and referral in the community to social service programs. So if someone has a need, be it for food or for shelter or other financial assistance, they can call 211 and be directed to those services in the community that can help them.
That message has not gotten out there enough, the
Yeah.
211 number.
That's right. A lot of people still don't know that it's out there, and but
And we've had it
211's
out about a year or so, right? Or longer? Is
longer
it
than
longer?
that. Longer than
Oh
that.
my
yeah.
gosh, that's
But
really...
it's a resource issue too for the 211 systems to have the marketing, capacity to get the word out to everyone who might need to use it. But we talk about 211 a lot because they're great partners with us, and when people call 211, they're going to receive, direct information about their specific problem. It's difficult when we're doing, having a conversation like this, and there's not a specific need that we're trying to deal with, but in general, but when they call, their need will be talked about specifically with the caller, with the counselor.
And so they go on the website or I guess they can call their local United Way chapter
Certainly.
too. But they can go, or they'll call 211, and they've got all these ways to get in, and they call and say, I need, and they're put on with someone who will refer them to the best agency in town to suit their needs.
Right, the one closest to them usually.
You already mentioned that you see probably a growing need for the food bank kinds of support for food banks because of the economic situation. Are there other things that you've looked at in the Tampa Bay area in the last several years that there's been more need for this or that?
Well, we're seeing a lot more families who are really struggling with credit card debt, with the mortgage that's higher than they're really able to pay, with rising costs of food and gas and energy and so forth. And so we're finding that many families in our community, not surprisingly, really do live paycheck to paycheck. And when something dramatic changes in the community, like it has in our economic situation over the last year or so, it puts a tremendous strain on that family. So, what we have done is tried to get financial literacy information and education out there to the community. There's a website that viewers can look at called myfamiliesfuture.org, and it's a resource website. So if you want to know how to reduce credit card debt, you can go there and get some great guidance. If you want to find out how to refinance a loan or how to access the resources that exist in the community to help you with some of those issues, that website is a non-commercial education information website about all kinds of financial aspects of any family's life. It's a great resource. Young people can use it because it helps them learn how to set up a budget and how to live on a budget and what it means to take on a credit card and what all the important need-to-know kind of information is about those things.
So would it be applicable for someone who is, from 12 years up or younger even?
Certainly high schoolers would find on the website a lot of information, I believe, that would be very helpful to them. It's created for adults, but there are definitely some tools there that high school young people would find very helpful.
Okay, so that's one of the things, the financial literacy aspect, because I guess people didn't really understand what they were getting into with some of the mortgage problems that we went through, or that they've just gone through with the low interest or just interest only rates, and then moving to this other phase.
Right.
What about things like that are related? Like what would you do if you've got the job, but you're can't afford the gas, which is what you mentioned a minute ago. You know, that can happen, right? I mean, I have a job, but I can't get there anymore because
Right.
it's just so expensive. Is there help for people like that, or not really? Or like electrical bill or something?
I think in those kinds of cases, the best thing folks can do is reach out to a case manager at a counseling kind of agency, like family service centers, Family Service Association, the Center for Women. Where there are case managers, there are always going to be people that can help you figure out, okay, what can you do? Or budgeting assistance as it relates to your budget. Consumer credit counseling is there to help. So there are a variety of resources available in the community, and it just depends on, you know, I'd say call and ask about your specific issue and be directed to the right service.
What about, do you expect to see an increase in homelessness as well?
Well, we certainly hope not. That could definitely happen with all of the mortgage issues that are going on. But it's also very encouraging to us to know that people in our community are really going the extra mile to try to support those programs. Donations to the food bank, for example, have gone up 27%. Now, the need is still outpacing the increase in donations, but it's important to us to see that people in our community are understanding that their neighbors need help, and they're trying, I believe, to go the extra mile to make those resources available in the community. So it's not all doom and gloom. People are really being very aware and conscious of the need that their neighbors have.
And these are places that where people, I mean, we've just had some kind of a promo in the last couple of months where we could have put some groceries in our mailbox. Was that one of these where, is that longer ago?
It's April.
April, okay, so
right.
it's longer ago. And that is something that takes place in the spring?
It is.
Always, or it's not a,
yes,
or there's a holiday one, isn't
the
there?
The Postal Service, the AFL and other food bank collaboration does the one through the Postal Service. And there are other opportunities to bring food to certain sports events and things like that during the course of the year, but the annual one is the Postal Service Drive.
And is that one of those agencies are also among those that United Way helps out, or different ones?
The food banks who are the recipients primarily are United Way supported partners.
Okay, I want to hear more about that and the needs in our community. We'll be back in just a minute. Stay tuned.
And this is Billy when he was a baby.
He's so cute.
And this was his first school play. And this is Billy's graduation from grammar school. Wait till you see the videos I have. I have so many tapes. Let me find them.
No, I can't wait.
Wait till you see the potty training we did.
Mom, our VCR doesn't work anymore. We can't watch those tapes.
Kathy, now you can watch Billy's potty training video.
What do you mean?
I had all the tapes transferred to DVD at Tampa Bay Community Network. I didn't have to mail the tapes away, and I got them transferred very quickly.
Welcome back. You're tuned into The Scoop, and today I'm Louise Thompson from Tampa Bay Community Network, and today we're talking to Diana Baker, who's president and CEO of United Way of Tampa Bay. Diana, on the volunteer efforts that you talked about briefly before, how can people volunteer, and what kind of commitment do they need to make to volunteer for any of these agencies?
That's a great question, because a lot of people get lost in the volunteer maze of not really knowing exactly what they want to do. I mentioned our Hands on Tampa Bay program, and what's so great about that is that it allows people to volunteer when most people are available in the evenings or on weekends, and they can volunteer once a month, or once a year. So there's a lot of flexibility in that program. And we encourage people to start there, because it's a calendar, so there are lots of projects on the calendar. You choose what you think you'd like to do, you register online, you show up at the project, you do it, you're done. No commitments long term. And what people tend to do, as our staff have worked with lots of volunteers through the years, is they'll go try that project, and then they'll go try that project, and they'll try that one, and pretty soon, it doesn't take very long until they really connect with one of the agencies and one of the volunteer programs, and they get, they get hooked in to that particular agency and perhaps might take on more responsibility there. Or in our case, a lot of our volunteers become project leaders, project coordinators, and take a leadership role in making sure that projects like that happen. So it could be anything from going to a day facility for seniors where they go and they play games and they entertain and they fellowship with senior citizens in a daycare kind of environment, all the way to really some of our volunteers are very skills-based volunteer opportunities. So maybe your gift is technology, and you know how to set up computer systems and manage data and do data entry and those kinds of things. So it could be anything from what an agency needs in its back office to what clients need, every day, and weekend projects, field trips. We have projects with Horses for the Handicapped and the senior programs that I mentioned. And
You said earlier something about rocking babies.
Rocking babies at a domestic violence shelter. Because that's important, that those children get love from other people in their life while their parent is involved in counseling or looking for a job or doing those things that our domestic violence shelters are providing by way of support. So while the parent is involved in that, in recovery for themselves and really trying to work on their own needs and issues in their family, someone else is taking care, very good care, of their children in the next room. It's a great opportunity.
I think a lot of people also don't realize, and today it's the tight job market, how important volunteerism is, not just to feeling like you're giving in your community and giving back and doing all those things. But in addition, there's this other reason, and you can put it on your resume.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, have you seen that happen where, somebody's made a commitment to a particular, they can shop around, see what they like, as you said. That's kind of a neat way to do it, because you will click with a particular group of people or their mission, or you just like the way they do it.
Right.
I'm here because I clicked with the First Amendment so much that I started out in a little group that was really concerned with increasing community dialogue, volunteering time to do that, and before you know it, we were asked to take over the public access channel and got involved in a volunteer way, and now here I am not only doing programming but also executive director of the place, because it just struck me how important it was to keep, just for me, keep the First Amendment going. And then there's certain people on our board that you like, or in your facility. So that's what happens to folks with the United Way agencies, I'm sure.
It happens all the time. I had one of our leadership executives come to me the other day, and she's only been at the United Way now for just a few weeks for a volunteer assignment during the course of our fall campaign. And she said, I'm so grateful to be able to be here. I've learned so much about my community. I'm teaching my 2-year-old daughter how she can do things for others, how she can help. And it's like that for many, many people. Not only are young people who are having to do community service hours, but it is really an opportunity for them to experiment with what's going on in their community, finding a place where they really can make a difference, and then sticking with it. And you're right, the resume speaks for itself. A young person who has gone out of their way to volunteer for others, to create volunteer opportunities for others and be involved, is a young person that you'll want to hire in the years to come.
Oh, you absolutely will. And not only that, at least you've got, if you couldn't find a job, or you did find a job but it was packing groceries at the supermarket, this over here, you might have actually done the technology for some agency, and you're going for a technology job. You couldn't get one immediately or while you were at school or something like that.
Right.
Also, I was thinking about this, that I don't know whether the public school systems are doing this or not. My kids went to school here in Tampa, and they were in a private school, which required community service.
Right. Community service is required.
Is it required in the public schools too, on the high school level?
Yes.
And sometimes we spoil these kids so badly, but they go out and actually do the soup kitchen on Sunday morning, or tutor some children that just really have a problem with reading. And my kids did that, and that was a wonderful thing for them.
We hear stories every year in our Volunteer of the Year application process of kids who have started their own nonprofits, who have taken on major, huge responsibilities to care for someone.
As a result of their volunteering efforts when they were kids.
They're still kids, and they're doing those things as young
Wow,
people. It's
nice.
amazing what they do.
What about also, do some of the agencies end up hiring the people because of their experience and commitment to the agency?
I'm sure that happens. It certainly happens for us at United Way. When we have volunteers who are just in love with the mission and who get passionate about the cause, those are the kind of people that you want working on your team.
Diana, we're going to wrap up in just a few minutes, and I don't know if we hit everything you wanted to make sure the viewers understood about United Way, but it's up to you.
All right.
What do you got?
Well, thanks. Well, I think what's important right now for people to understand is that your community needs you, that this is an opportunity in this economic environment for us to really step forward, to give where you can and volunteer where you can, and you'll be making a huge difference by doing that.
Well, I really appreciate your explaining your mission and what's going on there, and of course I think we all appreciate the help that United Way provides to the community. I wish you much success on your upcoming campaign. You're always having one, so I know it'll be any minute. And I appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time on The Scoop. Thank you.
News you can use.